Well, you've probably experienced this in one form or another, but AI is really making scams tougher than ever to spot. And Arizonans are among the most targeted in the country, from cloned voices and deepfake videos to convincing emails and investment scams. These scams can look and sound incredibly real.
And Arizona ranks 9th nationwide for AI-related fraud, with victims losing an average of more than $42,000 per incident.
Today, Tram Mai sat down with Tyler Lutman from My Computer Works to break down what you can do to protect yourself.
Okay, so compare what AI can do versus what people think they can do.
I think you need to remove that science fiction aspect, right? So a lot of people think that AI is like all-knowing and it's this final
like
answer.
very big brother, right?
Yeah, it's very big brother, as if it has access to everything out there, and that's not true. Its database that it has access to is not unlimited. It is not all-knowing, and so we have to stop before we trust anything that is AI.
You know, it feels like we're inundated all the time with AI photos, videos, emails, all of it. So how do you tell if something that you see online is real versus produced by AI?
It's hard, right? This is the age where we cannot believe what we see or what we hear, and that's hard because as humans, that's how we perceive and how we make decisions.
Right.
With AI, it takes that out of the equation. We can't believe everything we hear or we see. There are some giveaways that can help us out, right? So people, when AI creates people, it can mess up hands, facial structure, facial features that it doesn't know how to properly create. I had one recently where I tried to get AI to remake a photo of me, and it kept adding neck flaps that I don't have. These ugly neck flaps that I'm like, I don't have those neck flaps. But it just couldn't get it right. It never got my neck the way it's supposed to, and it was such a giveaway because it's like that's not a normal characteristic or feature that somebody would have.
Right.
They were so profound and sharp.
Yeah.
So if you start to look at like hand structure, AI has trouble with hands, facial structure. Look for those indications. One problem, though, is we used to look at emails and messages and look for those grammar mistakes.
Right.
AI is making it so that scammers now have good grammar, right? They look smarter, they look more professional, and these emails, that's what's tricking us.
Okay.
They're taking away all of those telltale signs, the giveaways that we used to look for.
Right.
You have to look for new red flags.
Okay, so what are some of those red flags with the emails? Because they are very convincing.
They are, right? So you have to verify the source, right?
Okay.
Slow is the new smart. Take your time to slow down, verify the information. Don't just take it, at its word, especially if it's coming from AI. Look at the email. Does it seem like a human actually wrote it? Does it seem natural? Sometimes AI has an issue with that natural speaking that me and you have when we talk to each other.
Inflection. I've noticed that too. It's very monotone.
Yeah.
That's how you
Has
can
trouble
tell.
with
And
tone.
I was trying to make an appointment with a dermatologist. Luckily, I wasn't being scammed, but I literally thought I was talking to someone.
Like a real human.
Like a real
Yeah.
human.
Oh, no.
And then it flipped me actually to someone. But it's like it prompted me to go through the robot, right?
Yes.
And then when it needed more, information and what have you, to the real human. But yes, I did notice that flat, kind of monotone sound.
Yeah. You
that
hear it
voice.
in the ChatGPT voice, right? Like if you watch the videos, it's not as human as like when me and you are talking. That doesn't have that natural tone to it. Exactly.
Yeah, that is a good indicator. All right, and a lot of people, they use ChatGPT or they use Google a lot for information about whatever question they have. How do people know that they should trust the answer the AI is giving them?
Again, it's hard. I say verify every time.
Yeah.
Every single time I use AI for anything, I verify the answer. I go online, do my own research, and I think that is the biggest power we have as humans, is we can stop, we can slow down. We don't have to take the first answer or what we're given.
Right.
We can research it ourselves and come up with the answer.
Yes, and I know my mom is watching. Sorry, Mom, I'm going to use you as an example. There was, sometimes my mom will say, well, such and such happened. I said, Mom, that's got to be AI. You have to look at the source. You have to verify and go back to a reputable, credible source to make sure that that is actually true. And speaking of which, you have a personal experience too. Something happened to your family member.
Yeah, my grandmother received a call. It was an AI scam. The AI voice over that was created sounded just like her son, and was asking for money, trying to get her to send money. It was very convincing, but again, the tone was a little off. Something, you know, especially mother's intuition, right? She caught it. She heard, that's not my son. So as soon as she really slowed down and paid attention to not what was being said, but how it was being said, that's when the light bulb went off and the red flag was very clear to her.
Yeah.
And then she called him and verified, hey, did you call me?
That's
and he didn't.
so good.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, thank goodness she thought, you know, the what and the how were a little off.
Exactly.
And then to verify that, that's huge. And my big takeaway from this conversation, slow is the new smart.
Slow is the new smart. Take your
like
time.
that.
Take your time
Really
and assess
good.
it. Yeah.
Okay, Tyler, great information. We
you.
appreciate all of it. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Stay safe out there.